Hi YouTube, this is Scottish Trucker Tommy here. Just want to make another video about the kind of the grim situation in the trucking and what we can do to try and get through it, because if it was really good, it would be hard to get into. Now is probably an easy time to get into it so that you can be in there to take advantage of it when it gets good. So I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks for watching. Good evening YouTube, Scottish Trucker Tommy here. Thought I'd throw a little video together about the state of the industry that us trucking guys work in at the minute. I looked at a video that I made, it's called The First Load of 2021, and I was picking up a load at Idaho Falls, the area, going down to Houston, Texas. And I said during the video, it's not a bad load this, it's paying $2.50 a mile, which, not a bad load, wasn't a great load, but it wasn't bad. But this is before the boom happened and then the bust has happened in the industry. And if I was to take a guess, I don't think we were paying $3 a gallon for fuel at that time yet, 2 years ago. If we were, it was just barely $3, it wasn't much difference. And the video was filmed in my old yellow truck, which, sheesh, on a good day it would get 5 miles to the gallon. So here at Houston is probably 1,600 miles, 32 for a round trip, 5 miles to the gallon, which is at 640 gallons. And so to have at least a $2 a gallon difference in a run to Texas, it's 1,200, let me see, what is that, 640, $2, yeah, just under $1,300 difference for fuel between then and now, just going down there and back. Nothing else, doesn't include reefer fuel. And so rates, you know, they're a little bit better, but are they much better? I don't blooming know, to be honest with you. Some loads that we get coming back to the west now, that used to be holding quite steady there. Maybe 3 years ago it was dreadful, and then it got a bit better by 2 years ago, and then last year, hey, let's not be kidded, we were milking the freaking cow and killing the fatted calf and all, any analogy you want to think about there. So those were the good times. But right now, hey, what are we, 3.5 weeks away from Thanksgiving, 4 weeks from Thanksgiving. We should be killing the rates. Then the Christmas stuff should be happening now. The rates just aren't that great. They're not that great at all. Fuel is still stupidly high. So it's quite a scary thing to have those things go the wrong way. I remember when I was maybe 30 years old, or 25 maybe 25 years ago, we were running for $1.10 a mile and fuel went to $4 a gallon, and that's when nobody wanted a Pete 379. They all wanted these new Freightliner FLD condo sleeper style trucks that were all the rage 25 years ago. You couldn't give away a 379 because of the fuel consumption, and it was only about a mile per gallon difference, but a lot of people lost their shirt then. It's just a tricky market out there. How do you survive it? I don't know. We're doing our best and we're hanging in there and we're doing all right, considering there's a lot of folk that are not going to make it, and you think you have to restructure and step back and go at it a different way, and we try everything. You know, we've got flatbeds there. We've got 3 back in the oil field, which I'm going to make another video about the oil field there, what the benefits, the pros and cons to go in there. So if you're interested in that, there's definitely pluses. But how to survive this? It's difficult. We've got 3 trucks off the road right now, waiting for parts, waiting for electronic stuff, waiting for ECMs and sensors. So, and fortunate that we have got, and I don't think that this is a wealthy company by any means, but we've got some stuff that's paid off, which you don't have to pay for, which helps your cash flow. But at the minute, my goodness, I would hate to have been in the position, and if any of you are, I fully empathise with you if you went out and spent over 200 grand for a truck when everybody couldn't get one, and 115,000 for a new reefer. You'd be $30 million in debt, and then the fuel's so high and you're barely making wages, and you've got to pay for the truck out of that. So what do? Well, you just keep going day after day, and it will get better. It always has done, and there's no reason to think that it won't this time around. Like I said, we have stuck some back in the oil field where we got a fuel surcharge on there. But you just have to be very, very careful. And I hate to be micromanaging drivers, but unless your driver keeps the driver door shut, and we're no longer on the ELD exemption for COVID, and we did make the most out of that, and it was good going. And when I mentioned it, didn't I? I did mention that word. Hopefully they don't flag it, because it's not that common these days. But we don't have that exemption, and we're running legal and try to do it the right way. And so you have to be very careful where you run, because if you run too far out, you can't get back home in time for your driver to have his reset. Well, fortunately, we've got some drivers that live in the truck, which makes makes us good. But you're always having, we had 2 trucks, hands up, we had hand up, hands up. We had 2 trucks coming back into town here from Minnesota this week, and I had the chance to pay $100 to the warehouse guy to come out on a Saturday evening and unload those 2 trucks. And that's them unloaded now. The drivers have had their reset and they're ready to go tomorrow with a fresh 70-hour clock. So you've just got to be micromanaging everything. You can't put your feet up and not watch where the trucks are going and what the price of fuel is, where they're going. Everything has to be, and this is no mentioning any names or criticizing people, because when times are good, you can afford to have little luxuries and little perks. But now when it's tight, we have to run it tight, because the rates are tight and the margins are tight. And so if you're extravagant in tight times, you pay the price. I hear it all the time with people coming into our workshop here in Idaho Falls and getting stuff done, and it's the same in everything. The construction guys are struggling with it because there's people from out of state coming into state because they don't have any work in their state. Flatbed guys hauling the steel into Montana and back, heavy hauling, so they're getting through a lot of fuel, and that's not very good. So I don't think there's anybody that's got some sort of secret niche that they're hauling in right now. We are going to look into this, and I'll tell you who's good at this. Cash is King, his channel. I remember talking to him a while ago, and he used to do these multiple drop loads, and we're looking into doing some of these because you get a higher rate per mile and your fuel consumption is not a lot, not as much as it is. So ordinarily when the rates are great, we run from here to Florida and back. and that's just what we do. That's the gig. But we might need to look at doing something, even once we're out there, not coming straight back, you know, zigzagging our way back with some multi-drop stuff to try and get our rates up and bring the fuel down, if that makes any sense. But you just have to try and be creative as to how to keep your expenses down. We're trying to do a deal now to get with some people to get some tires, not cheap tires, because nobody wants a cheap tire, but good tires at a cheaper price, you know. And so we've got 15 trucks running right now, and I don't want to do the math, but it's got to be close to 300. But when you times that by 18 wheels in each truck and trailer combo, you know, it just adds up to, you know, what's that? 1836 off of 300 is 264. So we've got 264 tyres running along the road at any given time, and so you're going to be putting them on quite regularly. When you're driving a truck yourself, you can, if you have a bad tyre, you can nurse it to get it into a place without having to pay a call out, and that keeps you from your expenses a bit lower. But we don't have that. You can't drive them all yourself, so we just try to make sure that if we're replacing a tyre, it's got to be replaced. You know, and if the one beside it is low and the guy it loves says, hey, this tyre needs to be replaced as well because it's too low for the tread matchup, then we won't throw the tyre away. We'll keep the tyre, stick it underneath the reefer so that if we blow one and it can go on to something else, you know. But that's just what you have to do. You don't have the luxury of, you know, just getting tyres for the sake of it. You know, if there's a brake that needs fixing and it's low on one side, and the other side's still good, sorry. If times are great and with plenty of money flushing around, then we'd probably do both sides, but we'll just do the one. Sorry. It doesn't affect how the brakes work. The one side's still working as good as the other, but you just have to be economical with how you run, where you run, and you know, we try to stay out of the northern states as much as we can, because at this time of year we don't have APUs in our trucks, so the drivers are around the trucks at night time if you're up in the north, but once you get down into the south, the trucks get switched off. So at over $5 a gallon, they reckon that a truck burns 2 gallons of diesel per hour. So if your guy's having 10 hours off and he's in Wyoming taking his time off, there's 20 gallon of fuel. You're almost cheaper to put it in a freaking guy in a hotel than run the truck. So we're trying to, when we go across now to Florida, we duck down into Utah, down through Moab into New Mexico and run along 40 instead of running along 80, because we can switch the truck off at night and it saves you $100. And all these little things really, really add up. I'll just give you an example right now. We've got a truck, where trucks in New Mexico end up having to go into work in West Texas because they're just doing a switching around how they're doing things in New Mexico. We'll all be back there around the 15th or 16th of November, but we're used to paying reasonable prices for tyres. The little tyres that go on a step deck, we've got those on one of our trailers, and for a regular generic tyre like that in West Texas, because you're in the oil field and they think that you're making a lot of money, they charged us $532 for a trailer tyre today. Almost, you know, I didn't say that, yeah. It kind of makes you, it wasn't heartbroken, but kind of a wee bit sick to your stomach and thinking, you guys are just ripping it. I know what you can buy for those tyres for, so we're looking at getting a big chunk of tyres. And we bought an old truck in the yard there that has got new tyres on it. I bought it between myself and Jeff. We bought this old truck to break it. Jeff wants the block and the head, and I want the tyres, the bumper and the transmission on it. And so, you know, what I'm getting what I'm getting off of it is more than, it's probably 3 times the tyres and the bumper. It's the cow catching bumper is on it. The bumper would cost more than what I'm paying for my half of the truck, and so the tyres are free, and you've just got to watch what you're doing, keep your overheads super low, be efficient, micromanage the drivers and micromanage the hours, because you've just got to make sure that the driver's door is shut and he's running along, and then as soon as he runs along and stops, he's got to be very efficient with that ELD logbook, because there are times when you don't need to be on duty burning up your clock, and there are times when you can go off duty or into sleeper berth even, and make the most of your 70 hours. So that's what we try to do. So far it's working. We're still here, we're still in business, we're still making some money, but it's nothing like it was. It will get better, but tough times, don't mind telling you. But we're doing all right. We're still plugging away, making a profit, but not a comfortable enough one that you can decide to splurge a wee bit, you know. So, but it's just a sign of the times, So anyway, thanks for watching. Talk to you later.